Occupational fatigue is an increasingly dangerous, yet commonly overlooked health condition that affects a majority of the workforce. Because it's so common, people may think of it as a normal part of working and underestimate the effects. They think, everybody's tired, what's the big deal? But there's more to workplace fatigue than just being tired. Consider the facts. More than 69% of workers feel fatigued at work. Fatigue, which can be either acute or chronic, can not only reduce productivity, it affects safety as well. Losing even 2 hours of sleep is similar to the effect of having 3 beers. According to numerous studies, being awake for long periods of time is akin to being inebriated. Staying awake for 17 hours is equivalent to having a blood alcohol content, BAC, of 0.05. Staying awake for 21 hours is equivalent to having a BAC of 0.08. Staying awake for 24 hours is equivalent to having a BAC of 0.10. Fatigued people are 3 times more likely to be in a car crash. Just like when a person is intoxicated, the effects of being fatigued include reduced reaction times, ability to pay attention, and awareness of hazards. In fact, motor vehicle crashes are the leading cause of work fatalities. The American Sleep Foundation statistics indicate 60% of adult drivers, or 168 million people, reported driving while feeling drowsy. 37%, or 103 million people, have fallen asleep while driving. 13% of adult drivers confess to driving while drowsy at least once per month. 4%, or 11 million people, had or almost had an accident due to fatigued driving. 59% of night shift workers sleep less than 7 hours a day. Night shift workers are at a higher risk of developing occupational fatigue because they tend to sleep less than day workers. Our body has a circadian rhythm which tells us when to sleep and when to be awake. Night shift workers have a hard time getting more quality sleep because they're trying to override their natural sleeping pattern. Employees working irregular shifts are even more vulnerable since their body clocks can't adapt to the changing sleep schedule. The risk of injury on night shifts is 30% higher than day shifts. Fatigue-related safety risks peak during night shifts, particularly between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. The risk of injury on the night shift further increases as fatigued workers increase their sleep debt, going up to 36% higher on the 4th consecutive night shift. Sleep debt is the cumulative effect of regular lack of sleep. For example, after losing 2 hours of sleep every day for 10 days, your performance on the 11th day will be as if you didn't have any sleep at all. 97% of fatigued workers have reduced cognitive performance. When people are affected by occupational fatigue, their cognitive abilities go down. This leads to poorer performance in terms of attention, vigilance, and memory. Fatigued workers also tend to make more errors and become less productive. In industries where clear thinking is a necessity for safety, workplace fatigue can lead to accidents and even fatalities. Workers with sleep problems are 1.62 times more likely to get injured than workers with no sleep issues. About 40 million Americans suffer from chronic long-term sleep disorders. An additional 20 million people experience occasional sleep problems. Chronic fatigue syndrome is most common in the 40 to 60 age group, which is over 33% of the working population. CFS is more common in women than men, and among races, most common in white people. Though it can affect people of all ages, including children, it is most often diagnosed in adults aged 40 to 60. This age group comprises more than 1/3 of the U.S. labor force. Currently, there are no specific laboratory tests that can be used in directly diagnosing CFS. Also, there is no known cure for this illness, though there are some ways to manage its symptoms. Overwhelming workplace fatigue. Experts say effectively combating workplace fatigue requires changes in both the personal lives of employees plus good workplace policies. Some recommendations include: avoid stimulants like caffeine and energy drinks. They may give you a quick boost, but make you more tired in the long run. Prepare for sleep. Avoid using your computer or cell phones 1 to 2 hours prior to sleeping. Go to bed at a consistent and regular time, even on off days and weekends. This way, your body can become accustomed to your required sleep patterns. Create a healthy sleep environment, which includes a good mattress, a quiet room with dark blinds, and earplugs. Stay hydrated. Drinking adequate amount of water daily has been shown to have a major effect on brain function and energy levels. Move often. Frequent movements encourage blood circulation and helps ward off fatigue. Incorporate ergonomic exercises every few hours that can be performed right at your desk or workstation. Eat smarter. Food is the fuel to our bodies, and what you put in directly affects your output. Avoid overeating and foods and high artificial sugars. Pick fruits and high-energy snacks instead. Talk with coworkers about their sleep strategies and challenges to come up with additional ideas that may work for you. Fatigue. It's a fact of life. In fact, in today's work environment, it can be hard to avoid. But that doesn't mean there aren't things you can do to minimize it or reduce its effects. There are. But only you can decide to take charge and get the rest you need and live your best life.